Good morning, students. I, Dr. Aarti Bhadoria, once again am with you to continue with the chapter, The Mark of Vishnu. It's a very interesting chapter, and the story has come to the point where there is a conflict between the age-old superstitions and the progressive view of students who were the symbol, who were the emblem of new generation. So let us continue. Before I begin, I must just give you the summary in two lines, and that was that there was a man, his name was Gangaram. He never believed that animals they can be harmful. On the other hand, children, students, there were a group of students who always professed that snakes are dangerous creatures in the world, and despite feeding them with milk, they will not leave their basic habit of stinging. So, all the time they were just having confrontation and they were just having discussion on this issue. Since it was rainy season, now all the snakes they came out of their place and one could see them. The discussion was about one Kala Nag, that is a big, huge black snake, which was often a mark of respect for Gangaram. He offered milk to him, and students or the children they argued that it is not the snake which is drinking milk, rather some other animals, maybe a cat, maybe someone else. So one day we saw Kalanag. The monsoons had burst with all their fury, and it had rained in the night. The earth, which had lain parched and dry under the withering heat of the summer sun, was teeming with life. In little pools, frogs croaked. The muddy ground was littered with crawling worms, centipedes, and velvety ladybirds. Grass had begun to show, and the banana leaves glistened bright and glossy green. The rain had flooded Kala Nag's hole. He sat in an open patch on the lawn. His shiny black hood glistened in the sunlight. He was big, almost 6 feet in length, and rounded and fleshy as my wrist. Looks like a king cobra. Let's get him. Nag did not have much of attendance. The ground was slippery and all the holes and gutters were full of water. Ganga Ram was not at home to help. Armed with long bamboo sticks, we surrounded Kalanag before he even scented danger. When he saw us, his eyes turned a fiery red and he hissed and spat on all sides. Then, like lightning, Kalanag made for the banana grove. The ground was too muddy and he slithered. He had hardly gone 5 yards when a stick caught him in the middle and broke his back. A volley of blows reduced him to a squishy, squashy pulp of black and white jelly, spattered with blood and mud. His head was still undamaged. Don't damage the hood, yelled one of us. We'll take Kala Nag to school. So this all happened that one day when students they got an opportunity of hitting Kalanag, and the opportunity was since Gangaram was not there, they saw Kalanag waiting outside, resting amidst the grass, and it was it was a very big serpent, almost 6 feet in length, and it was black. So children they just took a stick and they hit Kalanag on the back of it. As they hit, the pulp came out of his body and there was total blood which came with a great force. And when they were trying to hit Kalanag, Kalanag, according to his nature, was in a fury. His eyes looked red, and he hissed and spat on the ground. But the children, they just thought, because they were very much, I would say, enchanted to have to look at his hood. So they say, we are not going to damage his hood, because we want to take this Kalanak to a lab, and we'll keep in the preservative so that everybody can see it. So we slid a bamboo stick under the cobra's belly and lifted him on the end of the pole. We put him in a large biscuit tin and tied it up with string. We hid the tin under a bed. At night, I hung around Gangaram, waiting for him to get his saucer of milk. Aren't you going to take any milk for the Kalanak tonight? Yes, answered Gangaram irritably. You go to bed. He did not want any more argument on the subject. He won't need the milk anymore. Gangaram paused. Why? Oh, nothing, nothing. There are so many frogs about. They must taste better than your milk. You never put any sugar in it anyway. The next morning, Gangaram brought back the saucer with the milk still in it. He looked sullen and suspicious. I told you snakes like frogs better than milk. What we change, and we had breakfast, Gangaram hung around us. The school bus came and we clambered into it with the tin. As the bus started, we held out the tin to Gangaram. Here's your Kalanag, safe in this box. We are going to put him in the spirit. We left him standing speechless, staring at the departing bus. Now, as you all know, and you must have understood, that children, they managed to put that Kalanag in the biscuit tin, and all the time they were trying that Gangaram shouldn't know about what all had happened. Once they boarded the bus, they showed the tin to Gangaram and said, Gangaram, we are going, your Kalanag is in the box. Now this was a shock to Gangaram. He couldn't react. He was just standing and he looked at the boys. Now they reached school. Thus, there was a lot of excitement in the school, because there were four brothers who were known for our toughness, and we had proved it again. A king cobra 6 feet long, Faniar, the tin was presented to the science teacher. So what students did, they just took the tin and they presented it before the science teacher, thinking it a very big gift for them. It was on the teacher's table, and we waited for him to open it and admire our kill. The teacher pretended to be indifferent and set us some problems to work on. With studied matter of factness, he fetched his forceps and a jar with a banded crate lying curled in muddy methylated spirit. He began to hum and untie the cord around the box. Now, here is the suspense or the surprise which teacher and all students are going to see. Because teacher, he was used to all these things, so he said, okay, keep the box on the table, and then he took his forceps and he tried to untie the tin. As soon as the cord was loosened, the lid flew into the air, just missing the teacher's nose. There was Kala Nag. His eyes burnt like embers and his hood was taut and undamaged. With a loud hiss, he went for the teacher's face. The teacher pushed himself back on the chair and toppled over. He fell on the floor and stared at the cobra, petrified with fear. The boys stood up on their desk and yelled hysterically. So you all must imagine that what all had happened, because as the teacher was trying to open the tin, Kalanag himself took out his head and hissed with great fury and anger. Teacher was not ready for this, and teacher became terrified, speechless, and all the students, they became hysteric. There was a loud, I would say, havoc in the class. People were shouting, crying, because there was a lot of mixed reactions. Somebody was afraid, somebody was having fun, and teacher, though, was not at all prepared for such an entry before him. Kalanag surveyed the scene with his bloodshot eyes. As we all know, it's a common saying, common proverb about Nag, that Nag, if wants to take revenge, doesn't leave anybody. And especially if you have hurt any Nag, that is, wounded snake will never let you go on like that. And that is what it happened, because Nag was not dead, it was a wounded one. He forked tongue, darted in and out excitedly. He spat furiously and then made a bid for freedom. He fell out of the tin into the floor with a loud plop. Now, this plop means, you can just imagine, because the the snake was very big, and when the snake made an effort to move, it fell from the table, and that created a sound of plop. His back was broken in several places, and he dragged himself painfully to the door. When he got to the threshold, he drew himself up once again with his hood outspread to face another danger. So, just as all reptiles do, and especially the wounded snake, the snake managed to move because it was a wounded one, and it has to put lot of efforts to take steps to move. And when it reached the threshold, once again it raised its hood to smell any danger. Outside the classroom stood Gangaram with a saucer and jug of milk. As soon as he saw Kalanag come up, he went down on his knees. Now we come to the climax of the story. We all know that Kalanag was in a great fury, it was an angered one, and everything was added on because it was wounded. So it just looked here and there with great alarm. Nag was very much disturbed with all which had happened to him. But Gangaram, he was an illiterate Brahmin, he never knew what is going to happen. And at the very moment when Snake was unhappy, Gangaram stood there with a saucer of milk on his knees. He poured the milk into the saucer and placed it near the threshold. With hands folded in prayer, he bowed his head to the ground, craving forgiveness. In desperate fury, the Nag hissed and spat and bit Gangaram all over the head, and despite the great effort, dragged himself into a gutter and wriggled out. Now, Nag, according to its nature, though it was in a fury, though it has a nature of stinging anyone, so Gangaram was the victim who was standing just in front of him with the saucer of milk. And Snake hissed him and bit him all over the head. And the poison, the effect of venom was so powerful that Gangaram collapsed with hands covering his face. He moaned in agony because it was a great pain. He was bearing lot of pain, and he was moaning, he was humming, he was shouting. The poison blinded him instantly. Now, students, I just want to point out that Kalanag was such a poisonous one that the venom of the snake blinded Gangaram instantly. And within a few minutes, he turned pale and blue, and froth appeared in his mouth. On his forehead were little drops of blood. The teacher wiped with his handkerchief. Underneath was the V mark where the Kala Nag had dug his fangs. So, thus we come to an end of the story, which is a tragic one, which is, but it has an irony hidden behind it, that despite his worship, despite his dedication, Kala Nag did not spare Gangaram, and it bit especially on the forehead, on the mark which he marked on his forehead as a mark of Vishnu. So, Khushwant Singh, or the narrator, or I can say the storyteller, gives us this message that we must not forget that the animal or the creature which is dangerous one never leaves its basic instincts. So this was the tragic end for Gangaram, and that is all which happened. Okay, so see you again with a new story once again. Thank you so much.